Yo, peace, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Who Don't Know Shit About Boxing. Sorry for the delay of this last night. Had some wings and some fries, and I caught the itis. I didn't even get the chance to see the fights last night. I was asleep by like 10. So I just watched the replay. I DVR'd it, and the first fight, Jean Pascal versus Gonzalez. It was an interesting fight. Pascal is resilient. He's a little awkward in the ring at times. Very conservative puncher for someone who can be a volume puncher. I know that's kind of paradoxical, but the fight was scheduled for 10 rounds following the Kovalev it was the undercard of the Kovalev fight. I think that I know there's a lot of back and forth. You know, Harold Letterman had Pascal way behind, way behind, and Max Kellerman was in agreement, and so was Jim Lampley. And then Bernard Hopkins said it was a very close fight, and I agreed that it was a very close fight. Rounds 1, 2, and 3, I easily scored for Gonzalez. If you guys don't know, Yuniesky Gonzalez comes from that Cuban pedigree, and I'm gonna touch on that in a moment. From the amateur background, and then Jean Pascal. The way I looked at it, he won convincingly rounds 4, 5, 6, and 10. Round 7, he had a good flash. It was a more back and forth. Round 7, he landed some good lefts and some rights upstairs. But I thought that was I almost scored that one a draw, but I had Gonzalez come out at the top in that one. I scored the fight a draw. I thought it was, split 5-5 for each fighter. It was very difficult to score just because there was a lot of give and take. Pascal landed more punches. He threw less. Gonzalez threw more, landed less. He easily looked more aggressive in the ring. He controlled the center. However, when Pascal would fight going backwards, he looked more comfortable closer to the ropes. And some judges really won't score that. They will score the ring aggression. They won't. They might not give as many points for the ring generalship if you can control the ropes. So I think that had a lot to do with it. And styles make fights, and each judge is going to have their preference, and they're going to have what they score. And I know one judge scored, a terrible card against Matisse, so it was like, whatever. But I honestly think that the fight should have been scored a draw. I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch with that. My thing is that Pascal ended up landing a lot of good technical combinations to the body, which followed up with shots upstairs, and he got out of harm's way more often than not. I know Lampley had said that, he got buckled a few times. I didn't see Pascal visibly hurt a lot. I seen him absorb a lot of punishment, and, kudos to him because his beard has gotten a lot better. He took a lot of shots that he shouldn't have taken, but I was impressed with his perseverance and his resiliency in the ring, because I think that's what Pascal does. Now, my nationalistic pride is set aside in this. I thought Gonzalez definitely did come in, and especially as an underdog, represented in a grand fashion. And I think he's going to get a lot of chances to show and prove on a larger scale now due to his showing with Pascal. The Cuban amateur background is that of legend, especially in the Olympics, in the Olympic pedigrees, in the Olympic forums, because the Cubans aren't allowed to turn pro. For anybody that doesn't know, it's just them fighting amateur forever, and they're so good at it. They manufacture so many amazing talents that most Americans and most people unfamiliar with the boxing scene don't get a chance to see because they don't have that spotlight on them. But, Yuniesky Gonzalez came out and, was a big puncher. Lampley and Kellerman has said it best that when you get higher up in the Cuban divisions, as far as weight classes go, these guys become more brawlers. And Yuniesky was landing some big bombs on Pascal up top. He looked really impressive. He got a little sloppy just from taking a lot of left hooks from Pascal. He disoriented him a little bit, and that's what's going to happen. This is the first time he got to fight anybody of merit. Even though it was a 10-round fight, Pascal was an elite fighter for the light heavyweight division, and, he showed that tonight. Moving on, we just had a complete annihilation, another Sergey Kovalev knockout. Kovalev is now, hands down, one of my favorite boxers to watch. I love this guy, man. He went from a knockout artist to a really good boxer. I wouldn't say great boxer, but he's a good boxer, and he's only getting better. And he has John David Jackson with him, who trained Chris Algieri for his last fight. And Algieri looked fantastic. I think the switch between Abel Sanchez and John David Jackson is going to be a great thing for Kovalev, because now he's going to get a little more soul in him, because there is a difference. Abel Sanchez, no discredit to him, and I'm not to say he's not a better trainer than John David Jackson, because, but he's David Jackson has trained Sugar Shane, he's trained B Hop, he's trained Algieri, now Kovalev. He got a good roster of fighters and a history behind him. I think he's going to show Kovalev some things that, there is a difference between how black fighters fight, how white fighters fight, how Mexican fighters fight. There are stylistic differences in things. I'm not saying it's a broad stroke for all of them, but there are differences. And I think Kovalev is going to absorb some things, being in the gym with different calibers of fighters, different styles, sparring with different guys now that, he may not have access to when Abel Sanchez was was his trainer. So, we're going to see a new evolution of Sergey Kovalev, where he's gone from knockout artist to boxer. Now I think we're going to look at craftsman. I really think we're going to see, the craftsmanship of Sergey Kovalev come out. The fight itself was a whitewash. Najib Mohammedi from France, he came in. Just coming down the ring, he looked like he was walking the Green Mile. He looked intimidated doing the stare down when Tony Weeks was when Kenny Bayless was reading him the instructions. He just looked scared. And when he got in there, he was very awkward. He landed some combinations, and they were very superfluous. They didn't do anything. What happened, in my opinion, was kind of like I'm going to liken it to Animal Kingdom. Kovalev was like a cougar going in there eating a rabbit. The rabbit defends himself out of nature because he's felt threatened, not because he felt that he could win. And that's what it looked like to me. It just, Mohammedi looked scared. He looked like he fought more so out of retaliation because he needed to, so he didn't die. And then Kovalev landed that left hand that shattered the eye socket. As soon as I seen it, and this is literally, it's 11:56. I woke up at 10 and watched it. As soon as I seen that left hand connect in the third round, his eye socket is broken. I've broken a few people's eye sockets before, and I know the sound, I know the feeling. That's exactly what happened, man. And, I know right now he's still feeling that shit, and he's uncomfortable. But, that's what it is. Let's talk about the upcoming fights. The main one everybody's going to be talking about is Floyd Berto on CBS. Floyd's going to win that. I don't even like really speaking about Andre Berto just because of how big of a letdown he's been for me, because I started off as such a fan of him. And then, the steroids and the shoulder injury and just the flash in the pan that he proved to be really upset me as a boxing fan, because I had a lot of high hopes for Andre Berto. But, Floyd's going to win this. And people are saying that he's cherry picking or he's taking an easy way out. There's not a fighter at the end of their career that hasn't. There isn't. You could say whatever you want about Floyd Mayweather Jr., but boxing as it is stands as you get the easy way outs on your last couple fights. No one's going to go try to lose your last fight, especially when you have an undefeated record to maintain. No one's going to do it. You're not going to. Ricardo Mayorga and Sugar Shane Mosley. I meant to speak about this 2 videos ago. I think it's ridiculous that they're actually making people pay $50 for that shit. Whatever. The light heavyweight division now is going to be crazy, because we're either looking at Kovalev-Pascal rematch, a Kovalev-Stevenson super fight, Kovalev-Ward super fight. It depends on how the promoters make it. Middleweight division, Triple G versus David Lemieux. Can't wait to see that. I honestly think that could be a toss-up, because Triple G hasn't fought anybody with that much power. So we're going to see. And then Canelo and Cotto get thrown into the mix. Max Kellerman mentioned like a tournament style. It's just going to have to be. We got Cotto, Triple G, Canelo, David Lemieux in the middleweight division. That's going to be really, really exciting to watch. PBC's on hiatus, I believe, until September, and there's only a couple other fights riddled out throughout then. So, check back with me. I'll be having some insight on some upcoming fights. But, as always, thank you for tuning in to another edition of Who Don't Know Shit About Boxing. Most people don't. That's why you're here. Fast shouts to the 9 Elements. Check me out there as well. Soon I will be transitioning this from a video series to a podcast, so you guys don't have to look at me, even though I am quite handsome. But, your loss, not mine. But I think just a podcast will be universally more acceptable for everybody else. Till next time, guys. Peace.